In another time, before his name was dragged through courtrooms, Joe Sun was a feared villain. Not for his fighting skills, not for his acting career, but for his one unbreakable weapon, his lower half. The legend says his powers were nearly destroyed the day he faced Austin Powers. Or as Joe probably heard it in that moment, Odinson Powers. Most men would collapse. Joe Sun, he evolved. He had been humiliated, shattered, but from the wreckage of defeat, he built the one weapon no man should ever have, an unbreakable lower half. To build that kind of lower half power, he trained in ways no fighter ever dared.
Founder of his own system of martial arts, Joe Sando.
Hi, my name's Joe San. I'm from Huntington Beach, California. The Lord says, not by my might or my strength, but with my spirit, said the Lord. You guys will see the spirit of the Lord of Jesus Christ tonight.
Before UFC 4, Joe Sun was barely a name. Unless your neighbors were into obscure martial arts or you'd accidentally wandered into his garage dojo. Cheetah-born Sun Hyung-min in South Korea, he moved to the US and created Joe Sun Do, a martial art that specialized in the way of the lower half. Joe believed his base was unshakable. On December 16, 1994, he stepped into the UFC 4 cage in Tulsa, Oklahoma. No weight classes, no gloves, almost no rules, against Keith the Giant Killer Hackney. This was Joe's big chance to make his name. And technically, he did. Because while the fight is remembered for Hackney unloading a barrage of low blows, the real ending was something far more personal. Joe Sun didn't tap from the groin shots. No, he tapped because Keith Hackney gave him the most brutal wedgie in MMA history. That night, Joe Sun went from unknown to unforgettable. Not for his striking, not for his grappling, but for surviving a wedgie so vicious, it should have come with its own weight class. Sure, that wedgie was bad, but compared to what he did next, that wedgie was like a polite handshake. Because in 2008, police ran his DNA from an old arrest. And jackpot, they found his DNA from a 1990 Christmas Eve kidnapping and assault, like it was milk and cookies left out for Santa Claus. While most people were wrapping gifts that night, Joe Sun was committing a violent crime that would haunt the victim for decades. That case had been cold for nearly 20 years, until his name lit up the file like a bad plot twist. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And if that wasn't enough, he was convicted again for attacking a fellow inmate. From the Octagon, to Austin Powers, to a permanent spot in Cell Block C. That's not a career change, that's a crash landing. So in the end, Joe Sun will always be remembered, not for how he fought in the cage, but for the fact that his biggest opponent was the law, and the law won by knockout.
Okay. Young girl, 19 years old. Late at night, early morning of Christmas Eve, 24 December 1990. Driving home to the apartment complexes out on Burgers. She parks in the carport. Two guys jam her in the carport. They grab her, throw her in the car, drive her some distance away.
That's bad.
It's very bad. And the DNA tells us it's you.
Okay. Wrong guy.
You recognize anybody in that? That's you, right?
That's me.
And what we did, showed that to the girl who was kidnapped. She goes, 100% certain it's him. I've seen that face every night I go to bed. She said, that's the face I've seen of the guy who kidnapped me, one of the guys who kidnapped me and raped me. I mean, just that alone screws you, okay? No doubt about it. Okay, and the DNA is saying, yes, you're the guy. And you're sitting here saying, how is that going to fly, Joe?
Joe Sun's story proves one thing. You can go from the spotlight to the twilight real quick. And now at RetroMix TV, we've got Inspector Gadget in 2025. Upgraded, overloaded, and already in trouble.